Altcoin season is closer than ever. In the coming weeks, the market could see moves so parabolic, they'll make 2021 look like child's play. And if you're not watching closely, the opportunity is literally going to zoom right past you and you will not even know it came and went. So today, I'm zeroing in and revealing the exact triggers igniting this setup, the massive institutional money flowing in, the secret on-chain signals almost nobody is tracking right now, and the new laws about to drop into effect that could reshape literally the entire crypto landscape as we know it. And hopefully I will do this all in a very easy to understand and metabolize way for you, which is always my goal. Then later in the show, there's gonna be a part that I think you rightfully don't want to miss. I'll reveal the single indicator that's quietly called every major altcoin season right before it kicks off in full force. And normally, most people have missed this one signal. So don't let this be you, don't click away, and let's get straight into it. First off, the numbers don't lie. We have to always start there. And right now, there are three massive trends all converging and aligning, priming this market for something big. And the first factor to take into consideration is the fact that Bitcoin's ETFs have seen net inflows or more money coming in for 9 straight days, with 403 million just coming in yesterday, most of it piling into BlackRock's ETF called IBIT. This is serious institutional momentum, buy-in, and conviction. And every new inflow means more capital locked into crypto for the long run. Secondly, the ETH BTC ratio between the pair, which basically encapsulates the way Ethereum is performing in comparison to Bitcoin, just flipped a 3-year trend and is now pointing in favor of altcoins, because we know this is what has to happen in order for altcoin season to kick in, is Bitcoin dominance has to go down and that value has to flow into altcoins. And we see the beginning of this now. And here's what this means for you and for me. Every time ETH starts gaining on Bitcoin, okay, or growing faster, it's historically been the green light for altcoin season to kick off, as I said just a moment ago. Institutions and legendary investors are now moving in because they understand the writing on the wall. For example, SharpLink Gaming just made a huge purchase of ETH. And there's a major buzz right now about Peter Thiel taking a sizable position in an ETH treasury company. Thiel, who co-founded PayPal, was Facebook's first outside investor, to give you some context. So when players like this get involved, smart money starts to pay attention. So I'll be breaking down what this means for Ethereum on-chain dynamics a little bit later in this show as well. And then thirdly, the entire altcoin market has finally broken a multi-month downtrend. This isn't just a chart pattern. This is alts, the combined market cap of all non-Bitcoin coins, all now in breakout territory, all busting up. And historically, this kind of breakout sparks weeks of rotation out of Bitcoin into smaller, faster moving projects. And this is what fuels and kicks off the altcoin bull run as we know it. So every major indicator right now, from fund flows to the ETH BTC pair and their relationship to each other to the altcoin market cap right now, all has flipped bullish. These are the signals that let you front run the crowd before everyone catches on and then the parabolic phase of the market kicks off. Because and when the macro tailwinds line up with these technicals and everyone catches on, this is when the market explodes. So let's look at what's really happening on the highest level. Now let's zoom out for a second and talk about the big picture. Let's take a look at what's going on a higher level, because what happens on a macro level affects the crypto market and really pours fuel on it sometimes. Right now, the Federal Reserve, the FDIC, and the OCC, which are basically the top institutions in US banking regulation, just made a major announcement, and banks can now officially hold crypto for their clients. This is a historic shift that lets traditional finance finally bring digital assets onto their balance sheets. And a lot of capital has been waiting for this moment and for this kind of regulatory green light. And Standard Chartered, which is a global powerhouse in banking, just rolled out spot trading for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. So now institutional clients can hold these assets directly through one of the world's largest banks. And at the same time, JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon confirmed they're moving forward with their own stablecoin projects. Go figure, right? America's largest banks are building digital rails. We talked more about this yesterday in regards to XRP, and the market is paying attention. And what's very, very interesting is that Standard Chartered's latest report projects stablecoins could reach $750 billion in market cap. And they're calling out the massive impact this could have on the broader economy. We're talking about a theme that is growing every single week, and more companies and governments all over the world are looking at stablecoins as a core part of global finance. Institutional doors are wide open right now. Money that was stuck on the sidelines is getting ready to deploy, because when you see banks, regulators, and the big players lining up at the same time, you just connect the dots and you know the next big phase of crypto growth is already picking up momentum and gathering speed. Now let's take a look at how all this activity is impacting our blockchains. Right now, Ethereum staking reached an all-time high with over 35.8 million Ethereum locked up, which is almost 30%, for some perspective, of the total supply. When ETH is staked, it's pulled out of circulation, making the remaining supply even tighter. And on Sui, growth is explosive too. Daily active users just jumped 145%, with its stablecoin market cap hitting a new record as well. More stablecoins on chain mean more digital cash ready to flow into projects and trading opportunities. Solana's network is incredibly active too, processing 61% of all blockchain transactions across the entire ecosystem. This kind of activity puts Solana in the fast lane for adoption and developer attention. We're also seeing whale activity, or large holders. We're seeing their activity ramp up too. So this obviously sends a signal. Just this week, there was a single transfer of 80,000 Bitcoin. Whales are the market's deep pockets, and their moves are often the early warning signs for big price action ahead. And I've created deep dives or individual videos on all of these blockchains if you want to go check them out on my playlist, because my team and I always want you to be early and ready for what's next. So this is just a quick reminder to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, so that you don't miss it when I roll out another deep dive on a blue chip token and ecosystem. Back to today's topic and what we're talking about right now. What is so essential and key here is that when we see staking demand surge, user numbers spiking, and stablecoins piling up, while whales start making huge purchases and moves on chain. These are the ingredients for a true altcoin season, and signals to us it's all coming together and taking off. But of course, it's not just the tech or the markets creating this opportunity or this bull run. There's another major catalyst building in real time, and that's what's happening right now on Capitol Hill in Washington. The next big move could come from legislation and regulation. So let's break down exactly what's at stake on Capitol Hill today. Right now, lawmakers are gearing up for a noon vote, which is happening right around now, on two major crypto bills. There's the Genius Act, which clarifies rules for stablecoins, basically, and the Digital Asset Clarity Package. And both pieces of legislation are poised and positioned to define how crypto and stablecoins are adopted and allowed to be used across the entire US financial system. And just as a quick heads up, we're filming this as it's happening. So you won't get to hear the results in today's video, but we will break them all down in tomorrow's show. Now back to the point we're talking about, which is about stablecoins. We know stablecoins are just digital tokens pegged to the US dollar. So they go far beyond just trading. Right now, we know that stablecoins are already being piloted or tested by major players to simplify payments, cut costs, and speed up global transfers. Imagine paying with a stablecoin issued by PayPal using Visa rails behind the scenes, right? We don't have to know how things work behind the scenes, but imagine it's using Visa's system to settle instantly, or sending money to family overseas for just a few cents instead of losing up to 10% in fees. This is truly a game changer for anyone sending money home, especially for Latinos and millions of people working abroad to support their families and build a better future. If you're from an immigrant family or myself as a Latina, we know this is how we are trained growing up, is you take care of your family. So when a lot of immigrants, I know this is a hot topic in the US right now, but when immigrants get to the US or to Europe, they send money home to their families. So right now, this is a big deal for these communities that are culturally raised this way and spend so much money in fees just to send money overseas using different service providers like Western Union, for example, where now they can just do it quickly. Imagine. Incredible. So the real factors driving this stablecoin bill and market adoption, I would say, are factors like stability, efficiency, and cost savings. So let's hope and pray that this bill gets passed, because it would be absolutely huge on so many and multiple forefronts. But the real turning point may happen on July 22nd. So mark your calendars. This is when the US Treasury, the SEC, the CFTC, and other key agencies will release a digital assets report all together at the same time, which will be a groundbreaking first. Caitlin Long, founder of one of the country's first crypto native banks, says this report could reshape the rules for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and every single asset on chain. And just as a quick refresher, if you're not already familiar, the Treasury sets national financial policy. The SEC, on the other hand, protects investors and regulates stocks. And the CFTC oversees futures, commodities, and derivatives. So it's really quite beautiful and incredible to see a day like today and like these days that we're living, where so many different agencies are all coming together and cooperating for the first time on digital asset bills, laws, clarity. Hence why they named one of the bills in discussion this week the Clarity Act. So major funds and financial players are already positioning themselves for what comes next. So we know how the market reacts with huge news. It usually pumps. That's what happens with the news of news. And then once the news actually comes out, usually there's a little correction, but that's a separate topic. So anyway, let's stay locked in and ready. So now that we've covered the macro situation and climate in the world, the regulatory waves and what's being voted on this week and the impacts that will have on the market, let's take a look at trying to understand the market psychology right now. Because timing, sentiment, or what has been called vibes, I forget her name, but she wrote a fantastic book and talks about how basically the economy is just this big bundle of vibes, right? Like the market reacts according to how people are feeling. So market psychology basically just means that, how the market is feeling. So if you can know how the market is feeling and you know what tends to happen historically based off of the other conditions, this allows you to position yourself to make sure you stay profitable and definitely don't lose any money. That's always the secret and the key in investing. And if we want to get a real life example of this, just yesterday, nearly 50,000 Bitcoin were sold at a loss. That's a huge amount of panic selling. That's what that tells us, which is usually a sign also of less experienced or new investors freaking out because there's too much uncertainty in the air, and so they just sell. They freak out and they sell. Meanwhile, on-chain data and records show us that strong hands or older crypto money, or like more wise and experienced traders, are actually accumulating Bitcoin while others are running for the exits. So this is a prime example of the difference staying plugged in and tuning into channels like mine. And there are other few really great YouTube channels as well. But this is the advantage that you have in tuning into my channel, is that I will share with you all the time what is going on, what is the crypto and the macro and the regulatory climate like right now, and how may that affect your holdings, your crypto tokens, and how should it inform your mentality. One of the key metrics that traders are watching is called the peak signal. This is an on-chain indicator that only lights up when the market is truly overheated or too greedy, and it signals that we're near a major top. Today, that signal is not on. It has not been triggered. So the data says we're nowhere near a classic blow off. We're not near the top because the market isn't greedy. And there's another technical pattern worth highlighting called the CME gap. Now, the CME gap just stands for the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and it runs a futures market for Bitcoin. When their market closes for the weekend and it reopens at a different price, this leaves a gap on the chart. And Bitcoin has a habit of revisiting these gaps, almost like a magnet. This week, Bitcoin dropped into the gap zone around 115,000, and then it bounced hard from there. That bounce that it did shows institutional investors, we call them players, are defending this range and are not ready to let the momentum slip away. They're protecting it because they believe in it. So all of this that's going on that I just explained, the panic selling from smaller investors, bigger players or bigger investors secretly buying while the little guys are selling, and no sign of a classic market top, while institutions are stepping in and hold the key to price levels, shows us there's still plenty of energy building and to push the next move higher. Sentiment in the market, or the vibes, are resetting. Weak hands are out, and the conditions for a new surge are falling into place. If you're still here and still watching, you're already ahead of like the 99%, seriously. And that brings us right to the edge of what could be the biggest altcoin season in years. So let's wrap up today's show with what you need to know to get positioned, to take advantage of this time and space so that you don't miss what's coming next, because the opportunity altcoin bull runs present us are truly life-changing. I literally transformed my finances last bull run. Mind you, I didn't even sell always at the right time because I didn't know. And that's why I made this channel, so I can help inform you of what I didn't know and what I do know this bull run. We've been waiting years for this setup, guys. Like literally, I've been waiting years for this setup, and it's finally here. And I know many of you have too. And institutions finally have the green light. Lawmakers are shaping the rules as we speak. This week, I'll be reporting on it and then later breaking down what it all means for us once it's passed or not passed. And we see momentum exploding in the meantime. So this tells us the market is coiling tighter and tighter like a snake before it jumps. And all the signs of an altcoin season taking off soon are also lining up. We can all feel something huge is in the air. So that's a wrap for today's video, guys. Thanks for sticking around if you did. I love you guys so much. And then this is just a friendly reminder, as I have to ask every single time, is share this video with a friend or family member that you want to also help and have an impact in changing their finances, because people just don't know until they know, right? And it takes someone like you or like me telling them, right? And then if they don't take your advice, at least you told them. Make sure you're subscribed, you hit the notification bell so you don't miss my videos, because I do put a bunch of work into every single video, and so does my team. And then speaking about top projects and some of the projects I mentioned in today's video, you can also check out specific deep dives on each. So I did one yesterday on XRP. Last week, I've done some, and in the weeks before, I've done some on Solana, on just like all the top blue chip tokens, SUI. No one of you commented saying you're holding SUI. I made a whole video on SUI if you want to go check it out, cover some of the top big projects. So let me know what other type of content or questions you have, and I'd be so happy to put together a video for you. But anyway, guys, I love you, and I'll catch you in my video tomorrow. Ciao.